What's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Meal Prep. If this is your first time here, let me introduce myself. My name is Sonya. Today we are going to be making something fantastic. Yes, I said fantastic, and I do mean that. We're going to make one of my favorites, some bulgogi. Now, bulgogi is a Korean dish. It's kind of sweet in nature, but we're going to try to see if we can make it as healthy as possible and make it a bulgogi steak rice bowl. Are you ready to do this? Let's get started. All right, for this recipe, I've got all my ingredients laid out right here. We're going to be using 4 pounds of top sirloin steak. Sirloin steak. Now again, I'm cooking for about 3 people. I'm making about 5 servings per person. So roughly that's going to be about 4.2 ounces of meat in each bowl. If you're making this for 1, you can reduce this by 1/3. All right. So I have the 4 pounds of steak that I thinly sliced up. So you want to get a nice little thin cut like that. Can you see that? That thick. Okay. Take some time. Get to cutting. I'm gonna go wash my hands because I just touched raw meat. Be back. All right, once you take that long time consuming job of cutting up all the meat pretty thinly, let's go ahead and start on the marinade. Now the key to any type of like really good flavorful food is letting your food marinate at least for 30 minutes at a minimum, preferably overnight, ideally 4 to 6 hours. That's a lot of math, isn't it? Let's go ahead and get started on the marinade. All right, I'm gonna use 1/3 cup of brown sugar. I'm using dark. You can use light, it doesn't matter. I just like the way it's gonna caramelize and look. All right, we'll use 1.5 tablespoons of agave. I can never pronounce this right, but we're gonna use 2 tablespoons of this gochujang salsa marinade I found at Whole Foods. It's gonna be a lot less in sodium than other ones. All right, we'll use 3 tablespoons of teriyaki sauce. Again, this is from Whole Foods, so the sodium on this is gonna be a lot less than your traditional one. And then we'll use 3 tablespoons of low sodium soy sauce. All right, we'll use 1 teaspoon of black pepper. All right, normally I would use about 3 cloves of garlic, but I have this elephant garlic that is huge. We'll just use 1 of these instead of 3 of these because that'd be really garlicky. So let's go ahead and chop this up. So for this, since it's so big, I'm just gonna cut it in half and then quarter it. And instead of sitting here and trying to mince that all up, I'm just gonna put it into my garlic press, just like so. See how that comes out all like that? Don't have to chop it up. Just take my knife and clear it off. All right, let's go ahead and stir it up. All right, let's go ahead and let this set for at least 30 minutes. Again, if you have the time, let it sit for 4 to 6 hours or even overnight. The longer, the better. You won't be sorry. Me, I got 30 minutes. So this is going in the refrigerator. So while the steak is marinating in the refrigerator, like I said, for 30 minutes, let's go ahead and get started on this spicy peanut sauce. I'm gonna use 1/3 cup of some natural Jif peanut butter. Now, if you want to cut back and you're looking for calorie reduction or you're worried about your fat, you can omit this part. The bowl will be good just without it, but this does kind of kick that flavor up a notch, okay? 1/3. Now you can use creamy or crunchy. I'm using crunchy just for to add a bit of texture. Comment below, are you team creamy or team crunchy? Me personally, I'm creamy all day long, but I like crunchy too. We'll use 1 tablespoon of the gochujang sauce that I have, just 1 tablespoon. And to kick it up a notch, 1 tablespoon of sriracha. If you don't like it too spicy, you can reduce this by, say, half, or maybe omit it at all, but then it really wouldn't be spicy peanut sauce, would it be? Would it now? Would it be? Would no? And we'll also use the juice of 2 limes. I love limes. Have I ever said that before? I know, cheese ball. And lastly, 1 tablespoon of low sodium soy sauce. All right, let's go ahead and mix this up. Now, to make it easier to stir it up, you might want to go ahead and microwave your peanut butter for about 30 to 40 seconds and then add the rest of your ingredients. Otherwise, you'll be stirring for a long time. Yep, that looks good. All right, so it's time to go ahead and get started on that rice. You know me, I got my rice cooker handy. Let's go do it. Whew. All right, so meal prepping 101 tip, buy in bulk. This is 20 pounds of basmati rice that I got from Costco's. This probably cost me about $16, $17. Now, when I was buying the 5-pound bags at, say, Walmart, it was roughly about $6. So do the math. I saved about $5, $10. All right, we'll use about 2.5 cups of this. Let's get this going in the rice cooker. Now, if you didn't want to use rice, you could use quinoa or something like that for a different type of grain. Brown rice, it's your choice. I just like basmati with bulgogi. That's it. I have all 3 in the house. I'll be back. I'm going to go ahead and rinse the rice and put it in the rice cooker. All right, so the rice is in the rice cooker. I have some water on the stove boiling. I want to go ahead and add some broccoli to it. I want to steam my broccoli. So I like to put a lot of vegetables in any of my dishes. So we're going to steam the broccoli for about 3 minutes and then take it off. That way it's still crunchy and it retains most of its nutrients. Let's get started. Okay, this is about 2 cups of broccoli. All right, set the timer for 3 minutes and that'll be done. All right, little pro tip. You got 20 pounds of rice. How do you store it? Because I haven't found a container big enough. Well, see this 5-gallon paint container or utility bucket that you get from like Home Depot or Lowe's? And look, it says, let's do this. Well, wash this out, put your rice in it, it's sealed tight, and you're good to go. It only costs $3. Find some Tupperware that does that. Ugh, 20 pounds. Now I'm good to go for a while. All right, see you in about 5 minutes. All right, so it's been about 45 minutes. The steak marinated in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. I took it out, let it get to like room temperature for about 15 minutes. Now it's time to go ahead and cook it. Me personally, I love a cast iron skillet, or if you have a wok, you can cook it in that as well. I have my pan preheating with 1 tablespoon of olive oil in it. Let's go ahead and start cooking. We'll add onions and peppers to it as well. All right, so when you go ahead and start putting your meat in the pan, be careful not to overcrowd it. You might want to cook this in batches. Again, this is thinly sliced, so it's going to cook pretty quickly. All right, that's the last bit. So since I cut this pretty thinly, it's only going to cook about 2 minutes on each side. Doesn't take very long. You don't want to overcook it. Now in the same pan, I'm going to go ahead and add my onions and yellow peppers without washing the pan. Now as they start to cook, they're going to release some liquid, and that'll really get everything up in the bottom of the pan. And then we'll mix the meat back in, and then it's time to start assembling the bowls. All right, let's go ahead and mix the meat back in with the peppers and onions. Just let that mix around, cook for about 30-45 seconds just to marinate and meld the flavors together. Oh, that looks delicious. All right, let's take that off. All right, guys, we're almost at the finish line. Hey, did you know that I just recently released my first ebook ever? It's a meal prep thing. It covers over 15 complete meals, some snacks, a lot of bonus tips and tricks in there as well. Go check it out. You can find it at gooddaysonya.com. All right, guys, if you liked this video so far, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and hit that like button. Be sure to leave any comments below. And if you're not already subscribed, then go ahead and do so. All right, let's go ahead and put this bowl together. This bulgogi is looking pretty darn good, if I might say so myself. Why am I speaking country? I don't know, but let's get to eating. All right, guys, let's go ahead and add the rice. I'm going to do about 70 grams of rice. Right on the money. And then we'll do about 4 ounces of the steak mixture, about 4 to 4.5, because there's going to be some peppers and onions in there. Let's go ahead and add some broccoli. It's about 65 grams of broccoli. We have some shredded cabbage. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of fresh cilantro. And then optional, if you have the calories, you can go ahead and add some fresh avocado to it, just about 1 ounce. And then just for a little bit of texture, you can add a few cashews, just chop them up. Then you can top it with some green onions. I added a couple pieces of basil. All right, so don't forget about the peanut sauce that we have. If you don't like peanuts, you can omit this, but this really does bring up the extra added flavor profile up a few notches, okay? So just a little bit, drizzle it on. And then lastly, go ahead and top it with some sesame seeds. That's it. That's my bulgogi rice steak bowl. Does it look delicious? Now you can mix up the toppings if you like. You can put an egg on here. You can put other vegetables instead, but this is just what I'm doing today. Does that look delicious, guys? Do you want to take a bite out of that? All right, I think it's time for a taste test. All right, guys, let's go in for a taste test. Are you ready for this? I am. There's so many different flavors going on in my mouth. Oh my gosh, the avocado, the sweetness from the meat, you got the rice, you have the broccoli, the peanut sauce, the cashews, the sesame seeds. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. You have got to try this one. Yeah, folks. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, finish my dinner, but that's it, folks. Now this one is a little bit of a higher calorie meal than what I would normally do. It's about 450 calories, but I mean, if you have the calories to spare, you're looking for something that's delicious, you're getting tired of the same old thing, then try this. All right, you know what I always say, stay focused, stay positive, and keep it moving. I'll see you in the next one. Good day, everybody.